So we're on the first of our visits at St Stephen's
It's not.
Dom.
I don't think it's a saint. I think it's just Stephansdom.
Stephansdom, and there's actually I think there's a station nearby for it. Should you need to get here by public transport. And so, Sue, initial impressions.
So my initial impressions of Stephansdom is that it's a beautiful building. It reminded me of the cathedral in Cologne, if anyone knows that cathedral. They're cleaning it at the moment and it scrubs up pretty well. A bit like us really, darling, don't we scrub up well?
On a good day.
After a long trip. And it's nice. Nothing wrong with it at all. I think we feel that we were slightly spoiled by having seen St Stephen's Basilica in Budapest, which was absolutely stunning. And I wouldn't call Stephansdom stunning. I would say it's interesting. There was some nice choral music being performed, but there's a lot of payment, and I don't mind paying, please don't get me wrong, but you had to pay to go into this bit and that bit. And even then, one could tell that inside it's not that ornate. So it's very nice, it's a lovely atmosphere, but it didn't have the wow factor for us that the St Stephen's Basilica in Budapest did. So behind me we have the Staatsoper, which is a big venue for concerts and balls. Vienna is very famous for its balls. When it was first built, people didn't like it, and it had a nickname which was the Stone Turtle. The royalty didn't like it, the public didn't like it. However, it's been at home to many famous directors over the years. You can go in, there are guided tours, and there are lots of busts of Beethoven, Schubert, Haydn, and lovely frescoes.
So after a quick coffee break, we walked through some alleyways and found our way to the Hofburg Palace, where it was very popular with tourists, taking pictures, obviously, horses moving around, and the home of the Spanish riding school. We are in Schwedenplatz, which is by the canal. We've decided we'll come up, because we've not seen this part of town, we're going to set off from here. We're going to walk through the streets, medieval streets, to find out what's going on, towards Amhof.
And I'm having a cup of lactose-free cappuccino, which is really good. They offer that. We're a little bit later today because I wasn't very well yesterday, and I think it was really to do with the heat more than anything. We had a really nice meal. Yes, something may have upset me in the meal, and it could have been that the fish sauce had mussels in it or something, I don't know. But I really was very hot and shivery. And we were out in really hot sun yesterday, and I think possibly it was a bit of heat stroke.
So firstly, hope you like the new hat. It's a bit of a an improvement, I think, on previous ones. Sue's not so sure. We've just taken a turn, not turn for the worse. We've taken a turn down the street, and it's really got a great vibe here. We liken this to Funchal in Madeira, nice shopping area there. And what I wanted to say was that the rig we've got for this vlogging is it's a GoPro Hero 5. It's got a Puluz, P-U-L-U-Z, housing because I wanted to have something to safely mount the microphone on top. And the mic is a Rode Video Micro, which has a dead cat on top. And we probably wouldn't be able to count the number of times people have turned their heads looking at what this thing is on top. They've obviously never seen a windshield or a dead cat. And they're even looking at it now as I film this clip. So great fun. No one's actually come up and said, "What's that?" When they do, we can explain to them because it's a dead cat or a windshield.
Hello. So yesterday, we really struggled to find something to eat, which is probably why we all both felt so kind of like wiped out. So we went in places and they weren't serving food. Well, round here there are so many lunch options. This is north of where we were yesterday, and there's just loads and loads of places you can have something to eat. So we're in Ringstrasse. Down there is Ludek, but let's say just down to my right is Schwedenplatz, which is where we've just come from. And there's just loads around here. All the shops are shut because it's Sunday, so none of the shops are open on a Sunday. So if you need anything, don't wait till Sunday to buy it, although lots and lots of restaurants and coffee bars are open.
We're in a very warm Volksgarten this morning. We decided to get the metro U-Bahn underground from our hotel. Museum's Quarter was the nearest station, and we come up to Rathaus, took a couple of pictures. There's a film festival going on between June and September, so everything was set up for that, but still managed to get some nice pictures of the architecture, which is behind me. Over there you can just see the building there.
I get so hot in this weather. My head gets hot, so that all of this bit of me is boiling. And the trouble is, if I put a hat on to protect my face from the sun, my head sweats even more. So I have relented, and I have bought myself a little present. Here. So I am now going to be walking around Vienna with my beautiful new umbrella cum parasol.
we have arrived at the Café Central, recommended to us, but actually very famous coffee house. We had a great breakfast at the Hotel Beethoven, so we're not having any cake, but we're going to have coffee and we're going to enjoy
here it comes.
And here it is.
We're having, thank you very much,
Vino Melange.
which is like an espresso with lots of froth milk. Thank you.
Thank you.
And each coffee always arrives with a glass of water in Austria. It's a traditional thing here.
We're in the main pedestrian area, or one of the main pedestrian areas. Lots of posh shops here. So there's a Giorgio Armani, there is Gucci,
Fendi, Breitling,
Louis Vuitton. What else is there? Lagerfeld or something?
There's a Tiffany.
Tiffany, Dior. Have you done that one? And there's a Tesla around the corner. We don't really shop in these places, but they're here if one is interested in it. And we're just going on a wander now towards Stadtpark. So we are at the Café Sacher, having Sacher Torte. Oops. And it's fantastic.
Very nice. It's the original tour is produced according to a closely guarded secret recipe and kept in a safe where it's remained unchanged since 1832.
Meal deal, by the way, is a coffee, a whipped cream, water, Sacher Torte, whipped cream, €16.30. We are at Prater, and we are just going on to the giant Ferris wheel made famous in the film The Third Man. Also Living Daylights, James Bond, Timothy Dalton. We are in our carriage and we're moving.
So we're on the Ferris wheel going round, and what I absolutely love about this place is that it's one of those really old-fashioned fairgrounds, you know, with all the really old rickety old rides that look like they've been going for donkey's years, but you really love having a go on because they're kind of almost more scary, I think, than some of the new thrill-seeking rides. And it's a huge park, and at the top of the Ferris wheel you can see for miles, you can see the whole of Vienna all around, which is quite wonderful. It's definitely worth coming up here, I think, because it's not like a kind of normal theme park. There's some sort of what I would call a faded charm about it, and there's a nice little exhibition before you go into the Ferris wheel about how the area has changed and how it sort of became to be what it is today. So yeah, definitely worth a visit, especially if, like us, you're flying home this afternoon, a few hours to spare. Doesn't take long to get here from the centre.
The Praterstern, the giant Ferris wheel place, having a coffee, and we've just been on the Ferris wheel, so straight away that reminds me of a tip, which is get there early. We got here for 9:05 when it had just opened, and that was perfect.
On a Tuesday
morning, yeah. But it's fine.
It's because it's
So, final melange.
nearly got on your nose.
What a time! Great idea, well done, Vienna. I know we've covered this before.
Oh!
Actually, I don't think the sound came out before now.
The wind went. The wind
In a number
caught
of
it.
places, they have these. Trinkwasser. Waiting in the gate area at Vienna International Airport for our flight back to the UK. Good holiday. Had some challenges from the first flight out to Sue not being very well, but she still managed to come out, so we did a bit of travelling. We used the transport tickets, which were good, and we bought a ticket last night that got us home from being out on the town, not on the town, and allowed us to get...
Is that what you were doing while I was asleep and not very well?
Yeah.
Going out on the
And
town.
allowed
Left
us
me.
to get to the hotel. So, summary, Sue, of Vienna for you.
For me, I think the best tip I can give anyone in terms of getting around is when you get to the airport and you get anywhere near where the CAT train, even if you're not getting the CAT train, pick up one of their maps. So this here, so if you pick up the city, the map, because it's got the underground map on the back, and in here it's got the simplest map for finding your way around Vienna, the simplest. All the guidebook ones are far too detailed and complicated. If you want to get lunch in Vienna, it's quite tricky unless you just go to a baker's. Picking up a straightforward lunch is quite difficult. So you can go lots of little coffee houses that do coffee and cakes, and that might be something that you decide to do rather than looking for someone that does sort of lunch. But make sure they serve food if you do go in to get lunch, because I think, how many restaurants do we actually leave?
Many. Well, no, I have.
A handful, because one, they didn't sell food, and the other reason was the waiters are either really friendly and helpful or really grumpy and just ignore you. That was quite interesting, and it's just the way it is, and you kind of get used to it and you don't take it personally. That was funny.